Hey, welcome back. Day 2 of the shooting with the new camera. So I'm gonna try one here today. I had a question come through on another forum asking about Old Forester Statesman as compared to the Prohibition style 1920. So let's just try the whole lineup right after this. All right, guys, in the interest of time, I've already poured these and I have them in different glasses. I have the 1920 and an old vinyl Bourbon Bounty logoed color, full color. I have the 1897 bottled and bond in a plain snifter, crystal snifter. And then I have the 1870 original batch in a Bourbon Bounty etched logo snifter, so acid etched. And I have the Old Forester Statesman in a Glencairn glass. So now that's the order that they're in, so I don't get them mixed up. So I'm gonna move these bottles over, but representing this way to this way is in order here in front of me. All right, so let's start by taking, and I've just poured a little bit in these, but I'm gonna start by taking a little sip of the Statesman. And this is why I don't use Glencairn glasses. Watch this. I get these snifters like this and I can swirl these so well. These are a little harder to swirl. It kind of sloshes around in there a little bit. I guess I could get used to it, but I just got used to using these other ones, but hey, I can get some air in it. All right, first I'm gonna look at the color on all these. Medium amber. The Statesman is probably a little bit darker than the original batch. The other thing to note is this is 95 proof, the Statesman. The original batch is 90 proof. Of course, bottled and bond on the 1897 is 100 proof, and the 1920 is 115 proof. So there's your proofs on all of that. These are different mash bills, but I believe the Statesman is a lighter version of one of the same mash bill. It's not bottled and bond, something like that. I can't remember. So I'm not gonna tell you definitively what the Statesman is or is not, because I do not remember that. So we know the Statesman's a little darker than that one, so let's look here. It is just about identical to the original batch, and the 1920 comes in about the same, a little different though on the oils and all. The attenuation around the edge it looks a lot crisper on the 1920. So let's go ahead and get the tongue wet here with the Statesman. Not a bad bourbon. On its own, it's not a bad bourbon. I've heard a lot of people say, hey, I have a bottle, but I'm not gonna replace it. That's fine. But it is Old Forester, and it is pretty good. So, but I'm gonna take another little sip of this, and then I'm gonna go down the line and come back. Yeah, it is not a bad bourbon. So don't let anyone tell you that it stinks or anything, because it does not. Now, I'm just gonna pour these right on top of each other. This is like a bourbon battle going on. I used to have a thing called Bourbon Bar Fight Series. It's kind of like this. So let's go to the original batch. Yep. I like actually the Statesman better than the 1870, right? So if I had to choose, if I were going right down the line, just from sip to sip, I would pick the Statesman over the 1870. Now let me do the 1897. Oh yeah, okay. So The 1897 is edging out the Statesman, but they're similar in notes. And I'll get into notes here just in a minute. 1920. Oh yeah, there's the explosion of notes. You know, that is the angels sing and all of that on the 1920. Everybody loves it, and there's a reason for that, because it explodes with all this complexity that these don't have, okay? So we have that. Now I'm gonna go back to the Statesman, and I'm gonna start picking out some of these little subtle, or well, not the subtle notes, but the most impactful notes that these have. Okay, after all of these and coming back to it, caramel vanilla for sure. Man, that's tough without rinsing my mouth with water and clearing out the finish off of the 1920. It did not kill it though. It did not kill it. I can still taste the bourbon. And sometimes when you go to something that's potent as that and come back, let me swallow a couple times and take another little sip. Okay, yeah, there's a little earthiness to it, a little maybe a pretzel-y note in there with it, but the predominant is sweet. And it's a good caramel apple type, typical bourbon notes. The wood sugars coming out, came out nice in the Old Forester Statesman. Now let's go to the 1870. Yeah, the 1870 has like a little musty note to it compared. It's more earthy than, there's a little more oak that comes out in the 1870, that charred oak, you know, the note that comes out in it. I have a bourbon on my shelf that's the oakiest I've ever had, is the Garrison Brothers. And a lot of people are put off by Garrison Brothers here and there because it is very oaky, because they age it in Texas and it's hot. And it can really have an impact on that barrel. The 1897. So let's go back to it. Yeah, okay. Very similar notes to the Statesman. I'm gonna leave this 1920 alone because it's gonna kill me bringing you. And I really think this is a little brother to the bottled and bond one. This is just like similar mash bill. I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but if I had to guess, I would say it's a little lighter version of the 1870, or 1897, I mean. Keep getting them mixed up. This is 1870, 1897. All right, so let me do this. Yeah, they're very, very similar. Yep, and this one is completely different from them. Now, I will nose the 1920. Oh yeah, the 1920 is just in a league of its own over here. So we're gonna leave it to the side. I really think these are very, very similar bourbons. One's bottled and bond 100 proof, the other one is not, and it's 95 proof. Whew, they're hard to tell apart. Very good though. I really do like that little darker sweet kick to it, like a little raisin coming through on it, but it's very subtle compared to the 1920. I'm looking for that same note. A little more black pepper comes through on the 1897. I think it's just a little higher proof, adding to that, but that raisin is still there. Now I'm ready to go back to the 1920 because this is the flavor bomb right here. Oh yeah, you get the molasses, you get the fig, you get the raisin, you get the pipe tobacco coming through, you get leather coming out in that a little bit as an undertone. Again, I have bourbons that put Old Forester 1920 to shame, but some of them I can't even get anymore, and I'm not gonna pour them because I don't wanna drink them up, you know, because I have some that aren't even made anymore. And if I find another bottle, I'll be lucky, lucky, lucky. So with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up right quick, but I'm gonna go one more little taste through on these because this is fantastic stuff. I love this entire series. Don't get me wrong when I say I like this one the least, it's still a good bourbon. Still a good bourbon. Very good, a little weak, okay? Very good, different, a little earthier, a little more grassy note coming out in it. Very good, similar to the Statesman, and then the 1920. This is the one, I'll probably pour another snifter of this when I go to edit this video. But guys, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up as always. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell down there for notifications, and I promise, I'll keep bringing you these videos.